Hey everybody, today's video is on the new Val the Disciple raid perk Bait and Switch, and more specifically the perk on the new Linear Fusion Cataclysmic. As of recording, the newest hotfix has been posted and brought some interesting changes to lots of weapons and perks in the game. Most importantly, the buff to Bait and Switch from 20% to 35%. Keep in mind that this is the same buff as pre-nerf weapons of light, as well as it's also a greater buff than a Vorpal weapon, Fire Malign, or High Impact Reserves, making it potentially the most potent Linear Fusion for boss damage. So the question is, how good is it? Before we start with the main show, let's look at some other popular linears to see how they hold up. First we have the Sleeper Simulant, which had a very good season recently with buffs to damage and mag size. For this test I'll be using the Catalyst with this weapon. So as you can see, Sleeper is doing 61,332 damage on a crit, and it takes a total of 7.73 seconds to shoot a single mag. This is 22.46 seconds to empty out all 13 shots for a total of 797,316 damage. This gives us a really good base number for what we need to surpass to see which linear is worth using. Next up we have the Threaded Needle. This roll comes with accelerated coils, clown cartridge, Vorpal weapon, a charge time masterwork, and a boss spec mod. This has been the go-to linear for DPS, but has recently been affected by the Vorpal weapon nerf on heavy weapons. Since the weapon includes a randomized mag size, the times recorded might be different across multiple tries. The Threaded Needle does 40,204 damage on a crit and takes about 23.34 seconds to shoot all 20 shots, for a total of 804,080. So Threaded Needle does actually do a small amount more damage over time, but for DPS it fails to compete with Sleeper Simulant. Before we test Bait and Switch to see how effective the perk is, we can look at the same gun with other rolls first to compare other possible damage machines. To get a scale, let's look at the Cataclysm with an enhanced battery to make 6 in the mag, matched with 4 times the charm and boss spec, not applying Bait and Switch just yet. With no damage buffs except from boss spec, Cataclysm does 38,461 damage to the crit and takes 11.04 seconds to empty an entire mag of 6, benefiting from 4 times the charm, this giving it 10 shots before reloading. This gives a grand total of 1,230,752 damage in 34.20 seconds. For damage over time, this weapon seems to be a no-brainer, but still barely beats Sleeper by a couple hundred in DPS if we consider all 34 seconds of damage. Finally, we have made it to the main attraction, being the Bait and Switch Cataclysm. For Bait and Switch to work, you need to hit any target with all 3 weapons that you're holding to proc it. This seems like it might be a waste of time to proc and takes away from DPS, but there might be some weapons that you could use to synergize with this perk. First up is Izanagi's Burden with Catalyst. The reason to use this weapon is the reload cancel that can save a lot of damage downtime when swapping between weapons. To start this out, I'm going to preload a ×4 shot into my Izanagi's to save time. The order I will shoot is Izanagi's, then reload it, shoot my SMG, and then spam the Cataclysm. When the Bait and Switch perk runs out, I reload the Cataclysm and repeat the order. The Izanagi shot hits for 72,717, plus the one shot from Shira's Wrath at 383, plus the first shot of Cataclysm at 38,461, and the other 9 shots of 51,923 on a crit. This comes to a total of 578,868 damage for a full rotation, taking about 15.50 seconds. This means 3 full rotations plus emptying the last 2 Cataclysm shots would give us 1,813,526 damage in 46.5 seconds. We can only really take the DPS portion of this test because the total damage of swapping is clearly higher than the other tests, but even then the DPS of the swap is on average better than all other choices. The only competition it has is with Sleeper so far, which it does outpace after about 13 seconds. Before we are done, there's another weapon swap that might have some competition as well. This swap uses a Wither Horde with its Catalyst for autoloading and the Bait and Switch Cataclysm. Since we already have a lot of these numbers already, we can make just a few timing changes and we will have our numbers. I will shoot my Wither Horde, swap and shoot once with my SMG, swap to my Cataclysm, and yet again spam it like crazy. With this, we get a number of 541,438 damage for rotation at 13.73 seconds. This for a grand total of 1,701,236 with 3 rotations and shooting the last 2 Cataclysm shots in just 41.20 seconds. So we've come to the conclusion of the video where we can see all the stats for each weapon. So does this mean that you should be Bait and Switch swapping? Well, let's look at how long of a damage phase we should be expecting. If we can expect a damage phase to last somewhere from 15 to 25 seconds, then the clear winner is Wither Horde swapping with Cataclysm. But if you're talking about a non-time gated damage phase, then perhaps Izanagi's burden swapping will be better. Personally, I think that the Witherward swap is a lot more effective and ammo efficient as well. It's easy to hit a boss with a Witherward, and if timed properly, it can sometimes already start proccing the next timer for bait and switch. Alright everyone, I hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.